It was built between 1834 and 1836 by John Latshaw, that was the architect, and it was for the Hamilton family. So basically, it was built as a sort of statement of wealth, a sort of Greek revival, massive white mansion rising out of the Canadian wilderness, which was what people still thought of this place as at the time. And there would have been a lot more trees and a lot more shrubs around here to make it look sort of even more like stunning as you came up the hill. And yeah, so it was built as a family home. Hamilton and his wife Hannah had 11 kids at the time. Well, actually, he died while the 11th was still not born yet, so that was actually really tragic. He died in 1839. So then it was Hannah and her 11 kids and her mother living here. So still a pretty big house for that many people to take care of with 11 kids. So yeah.
Alexander was rather revolutionary in those days. He thought he was not going to have open fireplaces. That just wasted heat. So he contracted with Whedon Company, Buffalo, for 4 Franklin-type stoves with a double baffle so that you had a second chance at the heat, which he implanted between the walls 4 places in the building. So that was quite interesting.
I think to Queenston, Willowbank represents like a really important, iconic monument to Queenston's history. So this became a school, basically. Julian Smith, the architect, famous Canadian architect, he decided that this would be the perfect place, and he basically spearheaded the movement for it to be a school of restoration arts. So his idea was that this is such an inspiring backdrop to train the next generation of conservation, like heritage professionals, so tradespeople, heritage consultants, the whole variety. So yeah, and it is. So we've adaptively reused the house and Laura Secord School to be a school to do exactly that. So yeah.
The cemetery is a private cemetery, the Hamilton Cemetery. Probably the first burial was about early 1800, and that is a separate area with a stone, and they have their trustees. There's only one trustee now. They have cremation burials by members of the family now.
The natural heritage as well as the built heritage is super important to Willowbank. I mean, this is like the estate has been occupied for about 8,000 years. The portage route that starts at the base of the ravine and goes up through was the main portage route to get around the falls, basically until you could go down the canal or drive. And the neutrals, indigenous people, inhabited this place for thousands of years before white people came. So yeah, to me that's extremely interesting, and it's just as important as like the build history that we have here, to understand that that all came before. So
we have the powwow here, and the Aboriginals come along and plant a garden behind the work barn. So they're very keen to come along, and during the planting of the sort of a ceremonial planting, they came, I think the Mohawk people came along and planted one of the trees, which was nice. I think one thing that's important about why this has managed to still exist is because it was in one family and their cousins for 100 years. John Bright and Dorothy Bright only bought it in 1934. And this is one of the reasons I think these stately homes can survive.